This is a small presentation divided in two parts. In first half, we will discuss what we all are currently doing and the problems we face. In second part, we will see what is possible solution to our current problem. Even after recent advances in regional anesthesia like nerve mapper or ultrasound guided blocks, many newer blocks has been introduced in recent time. Still, regional anesthesia is not as widely practiced as general anesthesia. General anesthesia is mainstay of every anesthesiologist's practice, be it at a single nursing home or at multi-specialty hospitals. On this background, let's start the presentation. We all know these are three components of anesthesia, and analgesia is mandatory in any form of anesthesia, be it a regional anesthesia or general anesthesia. Before giving anesthesia to the patient, we have to do some procedures like putting a central line or arterial line, which will help for fluid administration and hemodynamic monitoring. In few selected patients, we do frequent blood sampling for biochemical monitoring. For giving general anesthesia, we need to intubate the patient and put him on ventilator. Thereafter, it's our responsibility to maintain the steady level of anesthesia throughout the intraoperative period and ensure hemodynamic stability. Let's see a small video. This shows how anesthesiologist's attention is grabbed by various screens like anesthesia workstation, multi-para monitor, syringe pumps. And this is not all. Anesthesiologist has to have situation awareness. He need to see surgical field for blood loss, watch for urine output, and various biochemical parameters like ABG, blood sugar, and electrolytes. Currently, what we do as an anesthesiologist, we collect data like hemodynamic, ventilation data, biochemistry, then temperature. We need to have situation awareness. For that, we observe the patient and watch surgical steps. At the same time, we need to document hemodynamic parameters and steps of surgery and anesthesia. We draw inferences from the collected data. We anticipate the adverse events and take corrective actions if required. And at the end of the surgery, we see that patient lands safely in conscious state. There is oft-quoted analogy between the three phases of flight: takeoff, cruise, and landing. With anesthesia, which is equivalent to induction, maintenance, and emergence from anesthesia. Long hours of flights or maintenance of anesthesia are boring, and therefore are aptly described as hours of boredom punctuated by moments of sheer terror. This is most important period of intraoperative monitoring, which gives many clues about patient status and demands frequent actions from anesthesiologists, which often are not taken, leading to intraoperative or postoperative complications. Can we hand over this boring but important task to robots? Let's find out. William Gibson, a famous American science novelist, said in 1990, "The future is already here. It's just not very evenly distributed." The technology first made anesthesia possible, then made it safe, and we'll seek to make it increasingly scalable and efficient in healthcare systems, which are pressed for resources, both economic and human. Automation in the delivery of anesthesia. Is it possible? The hallmark of automation is the ability of machine to alter the function without direct user input, but in pursuit of user-defined objective. The closed-loop anesthesia delivery system, or it is called as CLADS, relies on completed or closed feedback. For example, a ventilator. A ventilator must be trained to a goal, for example, end-tidal carbon dioxide, and govern an input that affects the goal, for example, minute ventilation. Causal interdependence of these factors is the closed loop. If intraoperatively, anesthesiologist wants to take action based on data, in this case, end-tidal carbon dioxide, and make changes in minute ventilation, this loop will get disengaged. This is just like cruise control. If you adjust speed or gear of car manually, then cruise control mode will be turned off. The closed loop automation requires reliable source of data upon which to make decisions. For example, programming a hypothetical capnography linked ventilator as noted in above example is a straightforward task governed by well-characterized physiological principles of carbon dioxide production and minute ventilation. These relationships degrade significantly in the presence of data artifact. Therefore, we need to have data which is reliable, real-time, and reproducible. Intraoperative events like pulmonary embolism or myocardial infarction, endotracheal tube malposition, patient temperature, and occluded or disconnected circuit tubing all produce variations to the capnogram signal and require intervention outside modulation of minute ventilation. Toward this end, the reliable acquisition of high resolution, reproducible, and timely intraoperative data is foundational to any attempt at automation. What are the basic components of closed loop guided anesthesia delivery system? These are system under control, which is patient in this case, then controlled variable that measures the relevant drug effect, set point for this variable, which is the chosen target value specified by the user, actuator, the infusion pump driving the drug administration, and finally the controller to manage the actuator, which comprises an algorithm for translating a measured value of the controlled variable to a particular action in order for the actuator to steer the controlled variable closer to the target value. Let's see how this CLADS show its performance in real world. This is a multi-center evaluation of closed loop anesthesia delivery system. And it is important to note that this is a randomized controlled trial. This study established the ability of CLADS, that is closed loop anesthesia delivery systems, and automated anesthesia control to perform consistently better than conventional manually controlled anesthesia. CLADS achieved this in various surgical settings without causing major hemodynamic deterioration. CLADS versus manual control. The closed loop controlled anesthesia has a better and more precise control of beats than the conventional manual control of propofol dose delivery. It is better and more precise control of beats. The wobble, which depicts the intra-individual variability, was less, which reflects the yo-yo effect in performance of system. This outcome was greater in the manual group, and it is not unexpected, as it results from dose adjustment by different anesthesiologists, some repeatedly overdosing and some others repeatedly underdosing. In contrast, the dose adjustment in the CLADS group was more gentle and frequent, resulting in less tendency to wobble around the target. The global score was lower in the CLADS group, indicating a better overall performance. Therefore, the current results confirm the superiority of automated control over traditional manual control in maintaining consistent depth of anesthesia. What are the challenges we face as an anesthesiologist? These are: our profession has gone through an increasing demand to multitask, be it running more than one operating room or by simultaneously performing administrative work or teaching tasks. In addition, the number of parameters to monitor has also increased. It is therefore not surprising that one of the common denominators of studies comparing the closed loop control versus manual control is the finding that humans change a given target infusion rate far less frequently than the closed loop devices do. The closed loop systems limit the influence of subjective knowledge or the expertise to a minimum. This is vital in reducing the workload of expert anesthesiologists. At the same time, CLADS will assist him in performing more anesthesia procedures in the same allotted time. It will also give chance to remotely placed patient to get world-class anesthesia services which are precise and safe. Will robot anticipate the events, or will robots have intuition? This is a big question. Anticipation of events as well as intuition is one of the biggest challenge when closed loop systems are designed. If one talks about the human factor of future developments, it will be our collaboration with robots by giving them valuable information only trained anesthesiologists are capable of providing. Indication of bleeding, surgical progress, or clinical observation of the patient's status is just some information that is helpful and cannot be obtained by robots. When we develop closed loop robots, care must be taken to allow input of several surgical stages to adjust closed loop control similar to what a human would do. Different stages such as incision or end of surgery can be put into the system. I think technology will advance similar to what we have seen in the car manufacturing industry. First, there was manual transmission, then automatic transmission, then double clutch systems, then navigation system, all sort of safety assist system, and soon there will be self-driving cars where driver, instead of handling the steering of the car, they can do other tasks which are more important. The closed loop anesthesia delivery system, or the CLADS, will it be available for clinical use soon? This is a big question, as US FDA has not approved clinical use of CLADS yet. Opposition to change is a human habit born out of over centuries. Technological advance in anesthesiology is an uneasy topic for us. With innovation like those we have discussed, anesthesiologists can perceive a threat to their purpose and professional identity, perhaps even the reasons for which we dedicated our careers to the service of humanity. Institutions with vested interests in the status quo, like manufacturers, training institutes, and providers, often perceive a threat to power, influence, and prosperity in the face of sweeping change. With these reasons, it will not be available soon, but cannot be delayed permanently. I believe that informed and alert professional can shape the coming age and guide its members to meaningful and impactful practice. The future is already here, and instead of opposing it, we should get engaged with it, because our engagement with innovation will determine our share of its prosperity. What I imagine in the future is that I will go to an operating room and I will tell my robo that this is a young male patient weighing 55 kg and is posted for kidney transplant. So this is the routine scenario what we do. I will inform him that I will give GA and I will put him on a ventilator. Now the next thing I will ask him, can you get a propofol fentanyl atracurium based anesthesia? Can we target a BIS of 50? Can you maintain mean arterial pressure around 90? Can you maintain a cardiac index during surgery of more than 2.5 liters? I would like to use atracurium for intermittent boluses if at all required, but please keep neuromuscular blockage lower than 25% at all the times. Please choose tidal volume of 420 ml and adjust respiratory rate to maintain in-tidal carbon dioxide of 32 millimeters of mercury, which I do regularly. Let's provide preemptive analgesia using usual doses of tramadol and paracetamol. And in future, definitely robots will answer, sure, we'll do that for you, Sujit. Then robots will request me, keep informed about the surgical progress. And I will reply, yes, very happily. So this was the future, what I pursue. Thank you.